Chapter 24. Truce. Phoebe returned from her morning shower to find that someone, or more likely two people, had returned her trunk to the bed by the window. With Alice and Jade's help, she moved it back to the beauty bed. "Are you sure it's worth it?" Alice asked. "Yes," Phoebe said. "If you don't stand up to bullies, they keep bullying." Jessica buttoned up her shirt and remained quiet. "Did you help carry Phoebe outside last night?" Alice asked her. Jessica nervously glanced over at the twins' bunk, hoping for support, but they were in the bathroom. "I don't know what you mean," she said. "As if! You know exactly what I mean," Alice persisted. "You stood right here last night when we all watched Phoebe walk across the lawn. I'm asking you if you were part of the group that carried her out of here in the first place." Jessica shook her head. "No, I woke up when Chloe turned the light on, and we all got up to see what was happening outside." "Megan," Phoebe asked. "Where was she?" "You'll have to ask her," Jessica said. "I don't need to ask her," Phoebe said, "and I'll be amazed if Chloe wasn't involved. But how did they know I was going out at midnight?" Jessica opened the dorm door, checked the hallway was clear, then looked seriously at Phoebe. "I was under the bed the other day when you planned it. Megan made me. But please don't tell them I told you. And Chloe was in her bunk the whole time. She didn't help carry you." The Time Travel Club shook their heads, ashamed of Jessica, who finished getting dressed and avoided eye contact. "Jessica, if you're afraid of them, just join our gang," Jade said. She shook her head. "I'm not joining any gangs. I wish you would all get along. Anyway, I have my own problems. I want to be a detective, but I end up being a matron at Perivale. It's me, isn't it? Banana peel woman." Phoebe considered this for a moment. She tried to cast her mind back to 2025 and picture the matron who had told the girls to be quiet after lights out. The hair colour, the shape of Jessica's chin, even her voice. It was unmistakably an adult version of Jessica. "It might be you," Phoebe said. "And anyway, what's wrong with working at a school? You seem happy in the future." "No," said Jessica firmly. "I'm redoubling my efforts. I'm going to be a detective." "You can't," Phoebe said. "You have to stick to the plan. I can't change the future." "You can, and you have. Tough pot noodles, or whatever your silly phrase is. I'm changing," Jessica said. During the mid-morning English lesson, a knock at the door made even the teacher freeze. Miss Perivale stood at the threshold, looming like a thundercloud, in her dark grey suit. The girls straightened their backs and buttoned up their blazers. They stared down at their desks and listened to the gunshot click of heels on the wooden floor. "If I may interrupt, Miss Timberlake," Miss Perivale said. Phoebe felt sick. She knew that this could be about one thing only, and that was her midnight escape attempt. Miss Timberlake cowered in the shadows at the side of the classroom, and Miss Perivale took centre stage. She glared at the girls one by one, rage brewing behind her thin red lips. "I am told by my house mistresses that between 5 and 8 girls were up last night running around the corridors at gone midnight. One report suggests they were down in the school reception. You can only imagine what would have happened if they had gone outside." She slapped the desk hard. The girls jumped in their chairs. "This will not do," Miss Perivale boomed. "Until these culprits come forward and explain themselves, free time is cancelled." Miss Perivale took a different route out of the classroom, coming in between the rows of desks. Phoebe could feel her stare on the back of her head. She wondered if Miss Perivale could see the bump. "I am watching you, Green," the headmistress hissed before leaving the room. The school library had a ceiling that reminded Phoebe of a church, crisscrossed by curved beams. A spiral staircase curled up to a gallery which wrapped around the upper level. Books upon books upon books, with dizzying ladders to reach the high-up ones. The potential there was to learn about everything and anything. So it seemed strange to Phoebe that lessons were limited to a handful of classic English novels and the history of art. The school took great pride in turning girls into ladies, but the Year 7s came to realise that a Perivale lady would have an oddly narrow skill set. She would recognise a salad fork, type 50 words per minute and bake a perfect quiche. Topics like science and maths would sit squarely in her blind spot. Phoebe tried to find books in the library about Albert Einstein. She heard that the famous scientist wrote papers about the possibility of time travel, and how it related to gravity and the speed of light, but the school librarian informed her that topics beginning with E were embroidery, equestrianism, and etiquette. "Perhaps one of those would be more fitting," she said coldly. The Time Travel Club sat in a nook surrounded by shelves on 3 sides. They called it their office and regularly worked there during prep. "What am I going to do?" Phoebe asked. "The Locker of Destiny turned out to be a very unmagical wooden box, and I'm well and truly stuck." "Couldn't you just wait it out?" Jade asked. "Everyone time travels, right? Just slowly at the rate of 1 year per year." Phoebe shook her head. She flicked through the pages of the Book of Difficult Questions until she found a headline, "Could I just wait in the yurt?" She span it around to show Jade the list of pros and cons. "Yes, I could do that, and at least I'd get to see Mummy, but I'd have to wait 30 years. 30 years! What would I do all day in a yurt? I can't get a job because I won't have an education. You'll be off at university or getting married, Jade. I'll be in your mum's garden ticking off the months on a calendar. And then when I finally get to see Mummy back in 2025, we'll be the same age. Weird." "Okay, but at least you get to see her," Jade muttered. "True," Phoebe said. "Now picture little 11-year-old Phoebe, who's excitedly setting off to Perivale. She says, 'Who's that old woman that's taking the front seat?' 'Who are you calling old?' That's me, by the way, speaking to me. 'And you better believe I'm taking the front seat. I'm 40 and my back is ruined from tent life. Oh, hi, little Phoebe. I'm Big Phoebe. I've basically created a new imaginary friend. And we all know how that went.' Now little Phoebe's jealous because Mummy has a big Phoebe and they'll be off to eat pizza in Monza while the proper Phoebe is sleeping by the window in a room full of strangers. Ah!" Alice and Jade sat in stunned silence. Phoebe put her head in her hands, shrouded by a curtain of dark brown hair. "Maybe it's not impossible for you to remain at Perivale," Alice said. "It seems easier than yurt life or building a time machine." "I told you," Phoebe said, "I can't. As soon as Mummy arrives, Miss Perivale will realise I'm not the real Katie Green. Who's going to pay my school fees? And anyway, I cannot risk seeing my mum when we're both aged 11. It'll mess up the universe." Phoebe jabbed her pencil at the diagram in her Book of Difficult Questions. A timeline showed 2025 and 1995, with arrows going forward and back. 2 stick figures stood at 2025 with the words, "Duplicate Phoebe?" Alice raised her eyebrows. She and Jade were out of ideas. The twins entered the office. Phoebe slammed shut her Book of Difficult Questions. "What now?" she said wearily. "Is this about the bed again? I told you, it's tough padoodles. I'm staying there." "No," Megan said, "and stop trying to make tough padoodles a thing." "It's about last night. Miss Perivale is asking everyone who was up and about. We want to propose a deal." The twins had clearly rehearsed their speech as Chloe began her bit. "We won't tell on you if you don't tell on Megan," she said. "So you admit you carried me outside?" Phoebe asked. "How many of you did it take?" 4, Chloe said. "I didn't do it, by the way." "Jessica?" Alice asked. Megan shook her head. "No, 3 girls from the next door dorm helped me carry you outside in return for a magazine and a makeup mirror. And they are freaking out about it." "Why?" Phoebe asked. "Because they could get expelled," Megan said. "No, I mean, why did you do it?" Phoebe pressed. "We did it because we like you, Phoebe," Megan said. Chloe shot her sister a sharp stare. "Stop saying 'we,'" she said. Megan huffed. "I knew how much you wanted to travel back to 20 whatever. And you had said that when it first happened, you ended up on the front lawn." "So you did it to help?" Phoebe said. Deep down she knew it was untrue, but she hated the tension and wanted to believe it. Megan nodded. "Fine," Phoebe said. "But can we stop being at war? I don't have time for it." "Can you stop sleeping in the beauty bed?" Megan asked. "No! I hate sleeping by the window. It's cold. But it'll be perfect for doing your hair. You'll get natural light." "Ugh," Megan said. "You're such a bore." Still, they curled their little fingers and made a Perivale promise to call a truce.